Hello and welcome back to another video. Of course, Valorant Champions is well underway, and as with the last video recapping the group stage, we're going to be taking a look at what happened over the last week within the playoffs. And unfortunately, we're going to be kicking things off with some of our fallen comrades from within that stage. Starting off, we're going to be taking a look at Foot, who had a valiant run throughout the tournament, but let's put it this way, they had a pretty cursed playoffs bracket, kicking things off against Paperex. Now, things were looking up. For the most part, they started off with an 8-4 lead. Everything was going well until they hit into that second half. That's where something came online. A 19-3. Yep, that's his KD for the second half of the map. And he was pulling off clips a little like this.
Let's see if Foot can find themselves another Thrifty.
Something is going to be noted, and he just swings out to take down Mr. Fall, and the blind is still through there on Tombizz as well. Something comes away with two. Empress not popped, says not needed. Knows that they're going to be going in against the lighter buy, and now he's got himself a third. He's looking for the fourth, and something is on for the ace. Dismisses forward. He's on the hunt. He's looking for him. And Kiwi tucked into the corner. Can he shut it down? Can he deny it away? No, he cannot.
In terms of the next map, and more so the rest of the series, I'm going to do the courtesy to Foot of not really talking about it and trying to move things on a little bit and talking about them versus Fnatic. Obviously, it was a bit more of a brief series, so I'm just going to give you a short synopsis of everything that happened in that match.
Tabii ki Alfaja'da çok kaliteli bir oyun olduğunu çok seviyorum ama o gün kim iyiyse o kazanacak. Bakalım.
Gets himself situated over at C long. Shock here into garage, the drop down. Alfier, he's got the tempo and he's got the double. Kiwi doesn't know what hit him. Thought he was safe, but Alpha catches him in the cloudburst, gets the shutdown here onto Ada Captain.
To bounce back after a really difficult loss.
Oh.
And oh, hey now.
Next up, we have BLG, or Billy Gaming. Now, they were a team that we didn't really have any expectations of since coming into the bracket after beating NRG. It was kind of hard to tell, and their match that came up versus DRX will probably go down in history. But, well, for all the wrong reasons. It didn't exactly go to plan. Now, obviously losing like that was probably a little bit rough for them, and they never quite recovered overall in the series, but they did have some incredible moments facing off against DRX.
Uses it to look to break mollies, but Rin is playing an off angle into his molly for it, so anybody who comes through is just going to get barrel stuff. That's really nicely done. Good details there from Billy.
It's so difficult. It's clean and it's an ace from Rin. What the heck happened there? Why is he already with two? The spike out of reach. The round is done.
Couldn't get a hold on that rocket.
YZ's gotten 3 on the round. Perhaps another ace on the cards. YZ with 4. The ace on the other side, and it delivers once more.
Now, YZ would play a huge part in their matchup in the lower bracket, where they ended up facing off against the other Chinese team, EDG. Now, if you look at their record, unfortunately, they never really looked like they stood a chance, only ever taking one map off this team, and that's in 4 different appearances, including best of 5s. Now, unfortunately, even though they did manage to get this incredible 15-13 victory on Split, it wasn't quite enough for them to overcome their greatest rivals, but I think it does leave Billy in a great position for the future, a team that we should definitely watch out for. Next up, we have DRX. Now, DRX in the bracket, well, if you exclude the rough first half versus Billy, they did get off to a good start, managing to get that 2-0 versus BLG. But in similar fashion to Masters Tokyo, they came up against DG, and if I'm being brutally honest, it kind of looked like they got outclassed. Now, because of this, it came down to a rematch from the 2022 champions as they took on Fnatic. Now, the start for DRX, it was a dream. I don't think it could have gone any better, 13-1, and everything they touched seemed to turn to gold.
Let's have a look. Can he find Leo first? He's looking for him. He's not being given much, but a pixel was all it took.
Plant's not good for Durkup.
Certainly not on the fake flash. Gives Stax the angle. Gets the cross. And now he gets started toying with him. Teasing, and he gets him! Stax with an audacious, outstanding round.
As many of us, including myself, have learnt over this year, though, knocking Fnatic down and knocking them out are two very things altogether, and it did seem like some of the players started to come alive a little bit, such as Leo, who pulled off this clutch on Haven.
Chaotic. Look at Leo at the back. He's got to defend, and he does. Keeps poster safe. Popping down some smokes, trying to create himself some avenues of safety, but Marco leans on in. Again, critical value, and it's all on Leo. Back of the side, backbone of the team!
Now he and the rest of Fnatic seem to continue that run of form well into that final map, as they were fairly dominant in the end, and unfortunately it did kind of look like DRX ran out of steam. Now, not a bad overall performance, especially with the way they looked coming into the tournament, but still awaiting that much wanted trophy for Korea, and more importantly for DRX, who have been in that competitive scene for a very, very long time. Now, moving on, we have EDG. Now, this is a team that, again, coming into the tournament, expectations were fairly high, and their first series delivered, but I'll be honest with you, it's not the one I want to focus on. I want to go and head into what was their last series of the tournament, because that Loud EDG match was one to remember. Two exceptionally close maps, strong performances across the board, clutch plays from either side, and two fan favorite superstars in the form of Kankan and, of course, Aspas. Unfortunately, somebody had to lose. Now, if you didn't see map 1, firstly, what were you doing? Secondly, I'm going to try and narrow this down for you just so you kind of understand what you missed. So here's a couple of rounds from that matchup, which pretty much completely encapsulate everything that happened within the map.
Fire strangers, Counting drops. Oh no! Showdown. What have you done, Sean? Counting with two massive kills, nobody plucking Aspas out of the sky.
The Seeker, he's following it.
I mean, he's got to be careful here. He's here by himself and he falls. The rotations are coming through. Kawanzin, 15 HP.
7, 6, the AWP is rotating.
Oh, just barely missing. Spike planted. Sunk into the soil of the site. Kawanzin with 4. Chichu's gonna have to 1v2 this if he wants to pull this off. Kawanzin, 15 HP, the flash to take the line. Can Kawanzin pull it off? Yes, he can. The ace ready. He's gotta catch a swing.
Oh, the heal on the Reyna.
Seeker's invested too, and look at the reposition out from Kawanzin.
No Lear's here.
Kawanzin creeping forward. Again, quiet on the approach. Not a single sound made, and Kankan's gonna stick at the hole! Oh my gosh! How was that not through? He got that! How was that not through?
Now, although the clutches shown did end up going in Loud's favor, so it might be a little bit misleading, the map actually did head over in the way of EDG. But the series, unfortunately for EDG, did go the way of Loud, and yeah, you guessed it, that means there's going to be a Loud Fnatic rematch. Another one for the year. Now, before we get to that matchup, I want to focus on our upper bracket game. Paperx versus EG, two teams gunning for that title, and it has to be said that both of these squads have looked incredible so far. Kicking things off, we can talk about the matchup of the duelists. We've already mentioned something a little bit earlier in the day, and he's going to be facing off against Demon One, who, well, if you're going off the DRX series, is actually a controller main, but I guess maybe we can balance things out a little bit by showing one of his duelist clips from earlier in the tournament.
Looks for the next target. Oh, it's gorgeous! Demon One! This guy is something else. Can you answer it again? Being commanded. Oh my word!
Now, although in most cases, and with most teams, I think the duelist battle is the most exciting one, in this matchup I actually want to go a completely different way. I think the support/initiator players of Ethan and Devi have been having an incredible tournament, and I actually think this might be the battle for who is going to be the most impactful initiator, and it's pretty impressive considering the Leo clip I showed you just moments ago. But it's the mix that these two players have had, and I kind of want to show you some varying clips here, because we've got high-impact utility and then just high-impact rounds in general coming out of these two. So take a look at this.
Kang again! He gets punished this time, but he does so much damage. His Boostio is now on a... He's going back in for more! The flash of God-tier flash comes in! Ethan might have just sent one of the best flashes I've seen in a minute right there.
Just cross nanoswarms, a snake bite, all hidden, near-sighted, and away, but Paperx seeking it as well. They don't want to give up this space. They want to be jumping straight into them. Devi is an absolute menace. Another 4-piece, another 4K.
Now to finish, you already knew the match that was coming up. It's a rematch again, one that we saw at Lock-In, where Fnatic pulled off the craziest comeback of all time and managed to lift a trophy. You have the fact that the Brazilians managed to come into this tournament and people were sort of calling questions about them, saying, are they actually up to the task? Looking at that upper bracket match and you go, you know what, Fnatic have this in the bag. And then they sent them down to the lowers in the first place and then also got sent there themselves, but let's ignore that fact. We also have to consider the fact that I also think some of the players on Loud look like they're up for MVP performances. Players like Les have had incredible tournaments. We've seen the comeback of the like of Tombizz and Kawazine, who were definitely a little bit quieter earlier on, and Fnatic haven't looked their best. It has to be said. Even in one of the halves, I believe, Dirk are going quiet, which is a rarity. The fact is, this matchup is completely up for grabs. And so is the tournament. That's the fact of the matter. We've got two teams in the upper bracket that maybe, I guess Paperex was kind of expected. EG still looking as strong as they have. And even though Fnatic, they came into this tournament as favorites, it doesn't look like they're going to win this one easily. The fact is, though, they are the ones with 2 trophies under their belt. They are the ones to beat. And we have got some incredible matchups still to come at Valorant Champions. Let me know what you thought of the video. I've enjoyed doing these little recaps, looking back, and of course, make sure to like and subscribe as this is something you want a little bit more of. Either way, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again after the tournament.